Hi babies, welcome back to a Monday's episode. I'm your host Miranda, aka Pleasure Baby, and this is my channel where I help you step right into your pleasure. Yes, on here we strip through all of those topics that society calls taboo and we make them not so taboo by just talking about them. And what is on the menu for today? Well, it's Monday, and Mondays are especially meant for sex tips, sex tricks, and topics. So what exactly is on the menu for this week's episode? Well, honestly, I could not think of a better way to start the week other than talking about the female orgasm. In this video, I'm gonna give you my 3 top tips to make sure to guarantee that your girl is going to have an orgasm, and not just a regular one. I'm talking about one where her knees are shaking, her legs are gonna give out, and she won't be able to walk. And yeah, some of the waterworks might actually come in if you follow these 3 steps. However, first, before we get started, obviously I'm gonna ask you guys to subscribe to my video and give this a thumbs up so that you never miss an episode on a Monday or on a Thursday. And you don't want to do that because we need to get these tips into the bedroom so that you guys can be having bomb ass sex. First, before we get started, I want to take a moment just to address this purple comfy sweater that I'm in right now, because I know I usually wear a lot less clothes, and let's just face it, it's because I like to be naked. However, when I do want to be in something, it is definitely comfortable. Honestly, one of my long-term favorite brands, so I might be a little bit biased with this one. This video is sponsored by Brazilian Apparel, one of my favorite athleisure brands there is out there. These hoodies are honestly one of the best hoodies you can possibly get. To this day, from years ago, from the company when they first launched, I still have every single one of them, and they've all been washed a million times, and they're all still this fuzzy. So I know no matter where you are in the world, the temperatures drop at nighttime and you need to put a layer of some sort on. And I honestly can't think of a better way to do so than with one of these cozy hoodies. One of the awesome things that Brazilian has done for all of my babies and subscribers is give you guys a 30% promo code. Now, they have not done this for anybody else, so you can only get the promo code here. The promo code is pleasure, and I will make sure to drop the link to the website below so that you can get 30% off on their whole brand new launch. And I mean, you have to check it out. They have everything from buttery soft leggings to the best joggers that your bottom is gonna be in. Men, that's for you. Women, that's also for you. And you must leave with one of these iconic hoodies. I swear you will not be disappointed. So remember, that promo code for 30% off is pleasure, and that link will be down in my description below. Now, let's get started for what you guys actually came here for. And it's 3 different ways to make sure that your girl has a guaranteed orgasm. Let's go. My first tip to you is going to be communication. I cannot stress this tip enough. I talk about it in almost every single one of my videos, because in order to have an orgasm, you and your partner need to be on the same playing field. And by the playing field, I'm talking about actually on the same team. This is literally like a team sport that you're playing, because it's not just centered and focused around one person's pleasure. It's about everyone's pleasure involved. So that means paying attention to your play partner, watching their body, seeing how their breath is moving, watching for different signs and signals, whether they are using their voice to express it or whether they're expressing in body language. The other person has to be giving feedback, and you have to be okay with receiving that feedback. I honestly believe that one of the things that sets men back in particular on giving their vulva owner pleasure or their woman pleasure is specifically the fact that they want to get her to her orgasm by themselves. And that's honestly not really possible unless you know their body already and they've already expressed to you their wants, their needs, and their desires. But honestly, my personal opinion is asking them what they want, because she is the master of her pleasure, just like you're the master of your pleasure. But women are a little bit different. Our vulvas are a little bit different. From nerve endings to what fluids we produce to the way we look, everything is just a little bit different than a penis. And let's face it, it's a lot harder for us to come most of the time. So now that we got communication out of the way and you're already open to listening and giving your partner feedback, now it's time for you to open that first door, which is a clitoral orgasm. The reason why I say this is the first door is because clitoral orgasms are actually one of the easiest orgasms to achieve. Why? Well, being that there is so many nerve endings just in the little part that is showing, all of those nerve endings are super sensitive and on the exterior of the vulva. However, you know exactly where the clit is. It's like that little button that you want to press. But the key to a clitoral orgasm is that it's actually the first step to getting through that door and unlocking it to get to the golden ticket, which is our next step. But first, we're gonna talk about how to give them that clitoral orgasm. So instead of going right in for that red button and nailing and rapid firing the clitoris right off the gates, you're gonna pull back and resist those temptations. And you're gonna do a light massage and light stroking around the clitoris. So you're actually gonna avoid it completely and just stimulate the parts that are not actually showing visibly to the eye. So it's an indirect warm up. So you're gonna be massaging right around the hood of the clitoris all the way down each of the sides of the legs of the clitoris and driving them wild. Once you completed a little bit of the massage around the clitoris, getting them aroused and turned on, you can actually start to increase your pressure. Now, in order to do this in the right way for your partner, this is where that first step is gonna come into play. You're going to need to communicate with your partner, and the easiest way to let the girl or the woman be in charge without completely pulling them out of their body is giving them two options, A or B. So maybe you can do a little bit of less pressure. Be like, do you like it when I do that one? Or do you like it when I do this way? And give it a little bit harder, increasing that pressure a little bit more than the first option. That way they can say number one, number two, or A or B. A direct line of communication so that you know what that vulva likes. The third step in giving them a clitoral orgasm is actually gonna be mixing up what you're doing. So you're gonna change the motions, whether you're going side to side, on a diagonal, or maybe even up and down. Then you're gonna play with your speed. Slowly start to increase. Moshi, stop biting me. My cat is on crack right now because I didn't come home last night and she needs attention. Now, when it comes to changing things up like the motion or the speed, keep this in the back of your mind. You only want to change things every 15 to 30 seconds, giving them different forms of stimulation. However, that being said, if they are expressing that that is it and they are getting close to an orgasm, do not stop doing what you are doing, because that can crash an orgasm and take that away completely. Unless you're trying to edge them, that ain't cool to do. That is like a woman's version of blue balls. So now that we've officially had our clitoral orgasm, we are now moving on to the third step, which is the golden ticket, or what I like to call the splash zone. However, majority of you guys will know it as the G-spot orgasm. So now that we have opened up these doors to that big ass golden ticket of a G-spot, we are gonna learn exactly how to stimulate it. But first, let's talk about what needs to happen before the G-spot can actually even be found. So either your partner needs to be incredibly aroused or has already hit a clitoral orgasm before you even enter searching and digging for that G-spot. Because you shouldn't have to dig or search for anything. You take your 2 fingers and you insert about 2 inches in and you apply pressure up. If you feel a spongy spot with a little bit of ridges in it, that is the G-spot. And if you're a little bit unsure, you can always ask your partner, is that the spot? Does this feel good to you? All they need to do is say, yeah, baby, or anything like that. This is because the G-spot, when it gets aroused or already has an orgasm, it becomes engorged and just filled with blood, giving it that very spongy texture that we like to call the G-spot. Now, if you are not feeling the G-spot at all, that's totally fine. Pull your fingers out and go back to step number 2, where you communicate with them to get them to the point of a clitoral orgasm. Now, if you're just not understanding their body and how they like clitoral stimulation, or even G-spot stimulation, for instance, All you have to do is watch and ask them to please themselves so that you can learn how they get themselves off. But now that we've found the ridge, the sponge spot, the G spot, we're gonna move on to our second step for hitting that G spot orgasm. This is what I like to compare to running. So when you're running, your heart rate starts off slow and it slowly starts to ramp up and increase. That is exactly what you are going to be doing with your rhythm, because G spots love high amounts of stimulation. So you're gonna start off nice and slow with a wave-like motion. This is just the easiest motion to do, and it's called the come hither. Next, you can also switch it up and you can do some circles, maybe some back and forth motions. So pretty much you wanna stay relatively shallow, putting and applying different types of pressure and strokes on the G spot. Now you're going to slowly start to increase your speed, making sure you're paying attention to your partner and their body language. Now, when you're playing with the rhythms and the motions and the speed, remember, you can still use that format of A and B or 1 and 2 to make sure you don't pull them out of their pleasure experience, because we want to keep them in their body so they can fully feel everything that you're doing and they can relax and trust the fact that you got it and that they're gonna come. And I'm letting you know, once they're really warmed up, they've already had a couple orgasms, maybe clitoral, maybe they've already had another G-spot orgasm and you've been killing the game, the faster you go and the more you ramp up with those consistent motions that their body likes and that they're responding to well, that is when you're in the splash zone. So if you don't have a towel or a wet blanket, you need to get one, because she's about to get messy and we're here for that splish splash. At least I know I am. The last step is number 3, which is actually to get them involved. Get them touching their nipples, touching their breasts, maybe touching the back of their neck, making some noises, giving you feedback. Maybe they're touching your body, grabbing your hair, pulling you in deeper and closer. Honestly, the best tip that I can give to you is suck on her fingers and be like, touch your clit, baby, and watch them pleasure themselves. That is where you learn the most. It's watching your partner and how they receive pleasure, how they give themselves pleasure, so that you can take those little tips that they're teaching you, and they don't even know they're teaching it to you, and you can use that on them so that you can get them there every time, because you know their body, because you learned directly from them. And the more that you encourage them to get involved and to feel comfortable in this space, the safer they feel to allow their body to express and let those guards down, because they genuinely know that you truly care about giving them pleasure. And there is nothing sexier than honestly having a partner that cares. Even if you are just hooking up with somebody, if you want to hook up with somebody consistently, give them that orgasm. Give them the voodoo clam or give them the dickmatized thing, because that actually works. Good sex, to have a good sex partner, you need to have solid communication, and you guys all need to be involved and actively participating. That is exactly what sex is. Sex is not one-sided. Exactly like I said, you guys, we need to branch together as a team, communicate and play together. If you start to see your partner feeling bored or disconnected from their body, or maybe even uncomfortable, read their body language and check in with them and readjust. Show me what you like me to do to you. Do you like it when I do this better? Do you want me to come back out and stimulate your clitoris? Like, there's nothing wrong with talking. We love communication. Communication is lubrication for our body, for our souls. Those were my 3 most effective tips to getting your girl to have and be able to experience pleasure and reach an orgasm. Better yet, 2 different types of orgasms. And if you're lucky, you might get hit in that splash zone. And if it's for you, you might want to open up your mouth and catch it. Now, like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, babies. And don't forget, the Brazilian link is down below. And please be sure, do not leave your little gifts on the table here. You are offered 30% off your whole purchase on all of the new launch. So don't forget to check it out. And I will see you babies on Thursday. Peace. Oh yeah, and tell me what you guys want me to talk about. Let's hear it.